Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back. Making another video today. I've gotten a lot of questions about winter sowing, which I think is really awesome. I've had a lot of people just want more information, like they've never done it before, they're new to it, whatever, blah blah blah. So I guess I thought I would just try to make a video to be a little bit more helpful for those people who are doing it for the first time, because it really is one of those things, it's like, is this really going to work? I know the first time I winter sowed, I was like, this is not gonna work. You mean to tell me I put these seeds in here and they just take care of themselves? Okay, I didn't believe it either. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go through some of the questions that I got and hopefully it'll be somehow helpful. I'm not quite sure if it will or not. So, alright, so getting into this, I'm not gonna put everybody's name up on the screen. I just wanted to make this as quick as possible, so I didn't want to edit it or anything. First question is, when do I actually start winter sowing? Now, that's obviously an important question. The thing about winter sowing, I see most things refer to it probably in January 21st is a good day to start. Kind of in January, all of the intense cold, at least where I live, has kind of gone, and it's really just, you know, a safe point to where things are going to start warming up from there. And for me personally, I started a little bit early this year, and for me personally, even though I started early this year to make the videos and everything, it's a good point to make to wait, especially, you know, into January. I wouldn't start sowing in December, honestly, just because my weather is so unpredictable. Today it was 60, tomorrow it's going to be 12. So it's just one of those things, you kind of have to know your climate. And I would wait, I would just say, just wait until the coldest part of winter is finished and then start winter sowing from there. And obviously start with your most hardy seeds first. And when I say hardy, I mean start with the plants that can handle the most cold. So for example, if I'm winter sowing, I could start with a hardy annual flower like bachelor's buttons. I know for a fact that bachelor's buttons can take a lot of cold and a lot of frost. I mean, I have them in the yard right now. They're doing great. They're not covered or anything. The frost just doesn't affect them. They're very cold tolerant. So I would plant something like bachelor's buttons first. I wouldn't plant tomatoes because obviously if tomatoes get frost, they're gone. So you really do need to know just a little bit about the seed. But once you do have that little bit of information, it's pretty easy. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let me find it here. What seeds can I plant? Okay, pretty much anything. Like I said, all you need to do is you need to know your seeds a little bit. You need to know, are they an annual? Are they a perennial? Are they a biennial? Are they a hardy annual? Can they handle the cold? What zone are they tolerant for? For example, if I'm in zone 6 and I want to grow a perennial that is hardy to zone 4 or something, you know, it's going to be safe to winter sow that seed anytime because, you know, it's going to germinate at the right time. And if it is still cold, it'll be fine because, you know, it's hardy at the zone 4. And you might lose a couple because, of course, it's a seedling if it does germinate a little bit early. But for the most part, I think you're going to be fine. And the winter sowing method isn't just for kind of cold tolerant things. You can use it with your tender annuals also. For example, zinnias. You can winter sow zinnias. However, it's important to keep in mind and watch the frost. So if I were to winter sow my zinnias at the end of March, my first frost date's in May, but it starts warming up around the end of March, I could do that. I could put those zinnia seeds out in the milk jug. However, if it does get cold at night below freezing and there's going to be a frost again, I have to go out there and either cover them up and make sure the frost is not going to get to them or bring the jugs inside. You really do with the tender annuals, you have to kind of keep them safe until, you know, the threat of frost is over. But it really is an advantage in terms of space because I know not everybody has space inside the house. I don't. Listen, the first year I gardened, I literally had like 700 tomato plants sitting in my living room under these cheap grow lights that were like clamp lights. It was a mess. Seriously. It was a mess. So in last year, I started about 500 tomato seedlings outside in the garden using winter sowing and with, you know, the milk jugs in combination with just a plastic poly sheet, 6mm sheeting. It was a huge success and I'm really excited to show you guys that too this year. Okay, moving on to the next one. Okay, I'm back. I had to put my hair up. It was driving me crazy. I never wear my hair down. It drives me crazy. Anyway, back on topic. What are we talking about? Winter sowing? What are we talking about? Winter sowing? Yeah. Another question I get a lot is, how do you like actually cut your bottles and use like put holes in them and stuff like that? This question is pretty common, and putting holes in your bottles can be a major pain in the butt. I started using, they are titanium shop snips. They're Fisker's brand. They're about $8.99 on Amazon.com, I think. They work great. They are extremely sharp and they're extremely strong, so be careful with them. I've had about 3 pairs of them and I keep losing them. I think somebody's taking them. I think my dad might be taking them because they're really handy. But I have to buy another pair. I've been using a pair of pliers for now and it's a pain. Somebody's like, how are you using pliers for that? And yeah, it doesn't work, trust me. I've also seen people heat up screwdrivers on their stove to melt holes in the bottom of the bottles. I've seen people use drills to drill holes in the bottom. Just get you a pair of really good shop snips. It is so much easier. Listen, these holes don't have to be perfect. I don't know, maybe you're one of those people who likes things to look nice and to be perfect, but I'm not that person. If it gets the job done, it gets the job done. So I do use just, shop snips and just, it works great. Super easy, super fast. I'm not over here heating up a screwdriver. Like, what? Listen, there ain't no reason we need to make this any harder than it needs to be, okay? So, yes, titanium shop snips. That's what I use. They're by Fisker's. They have an orange and black handle. They're, the blade is about this long. I'd put a link to it, but I swear I'd probably forget. If you go back to my original Winter Sewing for Beginners video, there's a clip in there and it shows exactly what they are, and I think there is a link in that video. So I'll put a card to the Winter Sewing playlist somewhere in this video if you need help finding it. I don't know, I'm terrible at this. I think another one of the most common questions I get is how do you transplant these things? I mean, they're all in here clumped together, they're all growing. What do I do? And really, I'm totally guilty of this in the past, especially my first year, and even last year still. I put way too many seeds in the container. I have this thing where it's just like, there's no way that's going to germinate. I don't know what it is about me personally, and especially with my garden and anything else in life. When I do something, I'm just like, this isn't going to grow. This isn't going to XYZ. I am probably the most pessimistic person I know. It's just like, that's not going to happen. Like, I have no faith in myself. And I don't know where that comes from, but listen, we ain't got time to get into that. I always put way too many seeds. They all germinate. I get great germination, and then I'm just like, well, what do I do now? Great, right? So in the past, I have transplanted in clumps, like just empty out the thing out of the container, break apart the clumps and plant the clumps. Obviously that's not ideal. Some flowers do fine with it because they have tiny seeds and they're used to that kind of growing competitively, I guess. Others not so much. So really my best advice for that is just use the seeds sparingly, like just don't go crazy. And they should be pretty easy to separate if you just go as sparingly as possible. Last but certainly not least, I wanted to touch on just kind of the care of the jugs. I know a lot of people ask, like, do you leave the lid on? Do you leave the lid off? I always leave the lids off. I just throw away the lids, honestly, for my containers. They're out there in January. They're getting snowed on. They're getting rained on. Everything like that. And for the most part, weather just takes care of it. Sometimes in the spring, when things start to heat up, I will have to water them occasionally, and it's just one of those things. It just depends on where you live. Like, we get a lot of rain where I live, like sometimes over 70 inches. So I don't have to water things as often as a lot of other people. So if you live in a drier climate, no humidity or whatever, you might have to water those. And of course, I recommend just a mist, that fine mist, like from a sprayer. I would be careful about accidentally burying the seeds or disturbing it too much. Seems like the only time I really fail with winter sowing is if I take the hose and water it, and I mess things up, especially small seeds like snapdragons. They seem to be very susceptible to that kind of thing. Otherwise, I don't really disturb the jugs too much. In the springtime, I do start opening them up. So for example, if I'm growing lettuce in a winter sowing jug and it's a 50-degree day, I'm going to go ahead and open it up and let that sunlight get in there, let the temperatures get in there. And if it's going to be cold that night, I'll close it back up for the night. And on those days where it's nice and warm, I will open them. What the opening does really is just gets them even more accustomed to the environment outside. The thing about winter sowing containers is you don't have to harden them off, which is great because I can't tell you how many plants I killed to harden them off when I started them in the house. Like every single one. So you don't have to harden them off, but it does help if you're cracking open those containers on warm days and warm nights too, if it's not going to be freezing or anything. I keep them open. The disadvantage is that sometimes slugs can get in and eat all your seedlings, which will make you very mad. But at the same time, you know, you're just helping those seedlings get used to things. It seems to reduce the plant's stress. I mean, if I have lettuce in a container and it's 50 degrees outside, it might be 90 in there, who knows? I don't know how hot it gets in there. And there's no need to stress out your little seedlings any more than they need to be, because I mean, they will be transplanted soon. That's really about it for this video. Hopefully it was somehow helpful. I'm not quite sure if it really was. If you still have a question, be sure to leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Making new videos on the regular almost every day now for a while with the winter sowing videos. So hopefully you guys like them. I hope that y'all are having a real great day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye guys.